स्वयं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति।
सुखेषु विगतस्पृहः वीतरागभयक्रोधः स्फुटति मुनिरुच्यते यत्सर्वत्रानपि स्नेहः तत्तत्प्राप्य शुभाशुभम् नाभिनन्दति न द्वेष्टि तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता यदा संहरते चायम् कूर्मोऽङ्गानीव सर्वशः इन्द्रियाणि क्रियातेभ्यः तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता विषया विनिवर्तन्ते निराहारस्य देहिनः रसवर्जं रसोऽप्यस्य परं दृष्ट्वा निवर्तते यततो ह्यपि कौन्तेय पुरुषस्य हि कश्चिदः इन्द्रियाणि प्रमाथीनि हरन्ति प्रसभं मनः तानि सर्वाणि संयम्य युक्त आसीत मत्परः वशे हि यस्येन्द्रियाणि तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता गायतो विषयान् पुंसः सङ्गस्तेषूपजायते सङ्गाचञ्जायते कामः कामात् क्रोधोऽपि जायते क्रोधात् भवति सम्मोहः सम्मोहात् स्मृतिविभ्रमः स्मृतिभ्रंशात् बुद्धिनाशः बुद्धिनाशात् प्रणश्यति रागद्वेषवियुक्तैस्तु विषयानिन्द्रियैश्चरन् आत्मवश्य इति ध्येयात्मा प्रसादमधिगच्छति प्रसादे सर्वदुःखानां हानिरस्योपजायते प्रसन्नचेतसो ह्याशु बुद्धिः पर्यवतिष्ठते।
Verse number 60, we are studying the turbulent senses of a wise man, while striving, indeed forcibly carry away his mind. While striving means a person is making an effort to get out of the sensual indulgences. When the person is making an effort to grow, the objects leave. In the previous verse he said, you make a sincere effort to evolve, the objects will leave you. What will not leave is your senses chasing them will not stop. Object will leave, but you will still keep chasing the objects. While striving, meaning there is a sincerity in the effort, but the sincerity in the effort alone itself doesn't help by itself. The sincerity has to be backed by a shraddha, a consistency in that. So a consistency in the striving will bring about a change. All that he is saying is you have to be careful about the senses, for you treat them very casually. An average person, ordinary person think, or most of the human beings think that they are not the victim of their senses. They always believe their senses are under control. Maybe mind is not under control, but senses are under control. Not realizing the connection between the mind and the senses. Mind cannot contact anything directly. For the mind to contact, it needs the senses. The mind cannot contact anything directly. Mind is just a bundle of desires. Those desires needs an embodiment to contact. Desires needs a suitable embodiment and a suitable environment. A suitable body and a suitable environment. Two things that the desire, two things that the fulfillment needs. One is the body, another is the suitable environment. A perfect ideal body, a perfect ideal environment, when both meets, there is going to be an ideal experience, and that ideal experience is joy. You are hungry. It's not that you are unhealthy, having indigestion problems. You are healthy, you are hungry. At the same time, there is an ideal environment giving you the food. When both combines, there is that experience of joy. So desires cannot directly contact anything. Desires needs a suitable body and a suitable environment. Now, when a person is trying to evolve, the environment stops disturbing, he says. First thing. Environment will no more disturb. Why the environment will no more disturb? The plan of nature. The nature is designed in such a way to promote evolution. Nature is not designed to bring about the downfall. Human beings fall. That is because of their own desires. But the natural plan, natural design is for evolution. Therefore, the moment you start making sincere effort for evolution, environment stops disturbing. It's a law. It stops disturbing, for you have fallen in line with the natural plan. What is the natural plan? The natural plan is to evolve, is to promote your evolution. Because of one's own ignorance, because of one's own wrong ways of living and understanding, it seems to be as though the world is bringing your downfall. So first thing he says, when you are sincere in your evolution, the environment stops disturbing you. Itself seems to be a very great blessing. Then you will come to realize that the actual trouble is not from the environment. It is your senses. It is your senses rushing towards the objects. It is your senses that is creating the demand for it, as a result of which you are amidst objects. That's what he says. Even a wise man while striving. What does it mean while striving? Natural plan is to promote your growth. Therefore, from the nature there will not be any disturbance for your evolution the moment you turn sincere. And then you come to realize the world wasn't the troubling factor all along. It is your own senses, it is your own mind that is creating this Demand, as result of which the objects are around you all the time. The beings are around you all the time. Therefore, where do you start? Therefore, where does one start? Not leaving the world, but to realize how the environment that you are in is because of your own demand. If you don't demand it, if you have outgrown that, not a split second you will be in that environment anymore. Just as the child in the womb is so safe in the womb, evolving in the womb, a time comes where the child has outgrown the womb. That second the child will start, nature will, what happens? Nature pushes it out. It will not say, okay, another one more day. Okay, today we have tried enough. Half a day we tried to, now we will take rest for one more week and start again. It doesn't start. The moment you have outgrown that, nature pushes you out. Therefore, first step, you understand, you are in an environment, you are amongst certain objects and beings. It's not because of the objects and beings wanting you. You are wanting them. As a result of which, the responsibility, the blame, you shift from them to yourself. That's what the wise one understands while striving. That's what he says. The wise man, while striving, he understands. Forcibly carry away his mind. You follow? And so simple and yet so difficult to understand what the nature of the mind is. Every week I keep saying some story or the other. This is what mind, ella story da. Don't take it seriously. I don't know what I said in the previous session. Oh, fantastic sir. I want to go back and listen what I said, for I don't remember what I. Nature of the mind. It's so simple to understand the nature of the mind, and yet it's very, very difficult. What is the nature of the mind? What did I say? Last week illa. The previous week. என்ன சொன்ன? இதான் அங்க அகாடமியில் வேற. நீங்க ஆன்சர் இந்த வாரம் சொல்றாங்க, அடுத்த வாரம் சொல்லுங்க. சரி, கொஸ்டினே ஞாபகம் இல்லை, அப்புறம் தானே ஆன்சர் ஞாபகம் வச்சுன்னு சொல்றதுக்கு. I don't even remember the question. Mind exaggerates, Mind exaggerates. Correct. Nature of the mind is to exaggerate. You understand that 90% of your problems will get sorted out. For problems is because of exaggeration. Then I went to say, mind is not imagining, it is exaggerating. Imagination means seeing that which is not there. Exaggeration means it sees something but sees it so magnified. There is a difference between the two. Where there is a rope, see a snake. That is imagination. But then you can't call it as full imagination also, because there is something there. Are you able to follow? There is something. There is something there. What is it that is there is something? Profit is there. You are not imagining a profit. Profit is there. Loss is there. You are not imagining a loss. Success is there. You are not imagining a success. Failure is there. You are not imagining a failure. But what the mind does, it picks up that fact and starts. It picks that fact up and starts exaggerating. Is that something? Yeah. And then I said, after that what I said? Material. It is using something to exaggerate, no? What is the material that it is using to exaggerate? And what is the connection of that to the verse? The material that it uses to exaggerate is the senses. The senses are the material that it is used to exaggerate. Senses are the material. That's why the sense contact, the sensual contacts are so exaggerated to the point of absurdity. What is the material? The senses are the material it uses. That's why all great masters starts talking by control your senses. We go back saying our senses are already under control. How to control the mind? For senses control is for children. Yeah. For adult it is control of the mind. See, when you talk about control the senses, whom do you address? Whom do you talk about control the senses? Generally speaking, to children only you talk all that. To yourself you don't talk about control your senses. For your senses are already under control. The senses is not under control. Because of previous indulgences, the senses has become dull. The senses have become dull because of the erstwhile indulgences. The senses are used as a medium for exaggeration. Injection is a pinprick. Injection is a pinprick. Why does one man faint for injection? At the sight of it, why one man faints? To put it very simply, understand it like this. Anything exaggerated, you quickly understand. Anything exaggerated, you quickly understand. That's why the Shastras gives exaggerated stories, exaggerated examples. For in exaggeration it is easy to understand. One. Second, exaggeration when it is conveyed through the medium of the senses, it's easy. Even poetry is exaggerated words. Even the vocabulary has to be. Even poetry, which is so the vocabulary which is so exaggerated in nature, makes you to understand something faster, versus giving it in a suction form. What is giving it in a suction form? The Upanishads, the Sutras are in a layer. The word Sutra itself means formula, suction. It's small. You give it, you don't understand anything. The same thing magnified. More magnification you need less subtlety you have. You follow this? More magnification you need, less subtlety you have. This man has done hard work. This person has done tapas. A statement. You will go, nothing will register. The same man standing on one leg for thousands of years. The hair has grown to an extent where birds make nest in it. Now, what an exaggerated expression of what hard work is. There the person turns back and says, now why? You follow? So, exaggeration has to be exaggeration always happens at the level of it has to happen at the grosser plane. Then only you can understand. That's why I am giving the hierarchy. Deterioration of the intellect, deterioration of the human being. The Adi Guru, the first Guru, conveyed the entire knowledge through silence. Dakshinamurti taught through silence. His name itself is so funny. Dakshinamurti means north faced form. You know that, no? Dakshina means south. Murti, he is sitting. Which direction he is looking? Correct. What direction he is facing? You understand? Dakshinamurti means he is just looking at that direction, that's all. What kind of a guru is he? Where he is not even uttering a word. He is sitting in silence. The students are also sitting in silence. Perfect communication. At our level, if someone is in silence, there is an agitation. Why are you sitting? They are sitting quietly. Oh, maybe, see, you come here for 10 seconds, the person stays quiet, you think, oh, see, deeply he is, something big is going to say, something deep he is thinking. Or you might think, he is trying to recollect. You can interpret it in any way. Now, 1 minute, the silence is still continuing. You feel like saying, say something. You follow? From the silence to the sutras, the Mahavakyas, which itself is a deterioration, magnification. For the subtlety it's lost. And this Mahavakya itself, these sutras themselves are so complicated, comes an Upanishad in the form of greater explanation. If you have to explain it, what you have to bring in? If you have to explain, language has to be brought in. When language has to be brought in, you have to bring words that exaggerates. Then only you can understand. Are you able to follow? Language has to come. The moment language comes, what comes along with the language? The words. Words means more and more exaggerated it is, better. You will say, wow. It's not wow. What has happened is, it's just being magnified, exaggerated. For exaggeration is the way in which the mind understands, the mind functions. Okay, till now? And the exaggeration has to happen at the grosser planes. What are the grosser planes? The first grosser plane, the language. That's why you have to write a long poetry to to say something. Magnify your, one thing is to say, I love you, I care for you. The other doesn't understand when you say, I love you. So what you have to do now? You have to explain. You have to explain how you love her. So when you start explaining, what are you doing? What are you actually doing? You are exaggerating. I will give my life for you. I will do anything for you. This, do. And then the child and the other person actually starts believing. The other person starts actually believing in it. And then the reality strikes. What is the reality? It's all they come back and say, why did you lie? Why did you lie? Why did you lie? It's not lying, it is just that's why why it is done like that. The mind understands only through exaggeration. The first material through which it happens is the senses. That's why grosser it is manifested at the level of the senses. It is easier to understand. All pervading. Now it is very difficult to understand. Vishwarupa Darshan. Like a balloon he blows himself up. Be Pirsana, you feel, correct. Vishwarupa, you understand. You follow? The first thing is at the level of the first exaggeration happens at the level of the senses. The second exaggeration happens at the level of the words. The first exaggeration happens at the level of the senses. The Upanishad says you have to do Panchabhuta Tapas. Panchabhuta Tapas means not to be affected by the senses. Not to be affected by the senses. I wanted to give that example, but he is drinking, so I can't give it now. I was about to give this example. Panchabhuta Tapas. They say, Agni. You have to do tapas sitting in front of Agni. Now, where is Agni now to sit? When you are living in air condition, 24/7. So, to an extent where even before you go to the house, from the office only you activate the AC and go, so that as soon as you enter, AC is on already. So even the 2 minutes is intolerable. Too much to, you follow what I am saying? They say now at the level of the senses, then you know how much you are a victim of your senses, and how senses makes you to believe that it is difficult to conquer the senses. The person who has not even conquered the senses cannot go anywhere near the mind. He cannot go anywhere near the mind. The person who has not conquered the mind cannot go. Only the person who has conquered the senses can conquer the mind. The person who has conquered the mind can sit and meditate. You follow the hierarchy. Today it is exactly the opposite. The person who can't even control the senses little bit wants to directly meditate, and they ask how to control the mind, how to meditate, because they think meditation will control the starting point. Where is the starting point? The starting point is the senses. Sometimes God helps you. You get 102 degrees temperature, 103 degrees temperature, disease, fever. You can say, okay, let me practice this tapas for 10 minutes and then go to doctors. Don't practice, huh? Sir, you சொன்னேன்னு practice பண்ண ICU admit பண்ணிட்டாங்க. Don't do all this. I'm just giving it as an example. A person where at the level of the senses, so difficult. Why? The comforts of life starts from the comforts of life, the indulgences of life starts from the senses. That's why they said that if you have to practice, if you want to evolve, they brought it down to absurd basics. They brought it down to these kind of foods you should not eat, this type of music you should not listen, these type of things you should not do. And if you look at all that, all this will be catering at the level of the senses. The person turns back and says, oh, all this is very superstitious. I don't believe in all this, for I can control the mind directly. It doesn't work like that. Even a man like Vishwamitra has fallen for the senses. Now where is your chance? Another example, in the Viveka Chudamani, he talks about how each and every animal falls for one sense, and then he says a human being falls for all the five senses. The word control has an element of frustration hidden in it. The word control has an element of frustration, irritation in it. That's why control, Nalet, is very painful. Why? The word control has an element of pain associated with it. They don't use the word control, they use transcend, outgrow. Both are fundamental. There is a fundamental difference between the two. One is to transcend, another is to control. Sense control is different from transcending the senses. The word control is very difficult. That's why how much ever you talk about control, you will talk about control to others. You will talk about discipline to others. You follow? Different from control is distinct and different from control is transcending. Transcending means you have outgrown. That stays wherever it is, but you have evolved. We have evolved. Having said all this, it's very difficult to start at the level of the senses. For where the problem is, the mind will not allow you to focus. Mind will focus where there is no problem, mind will focus there only. Brihadaranyaka gives this beautiful example. The lady is searching for the needle in the street. The lady is searching for the needle in the street. The person comes and asks, "Why are you? Did you lose it here?" He said, "No, I lost it in the house. But why are you searching here?" What answer she gave? Light ingadana irukkudu. If I have to search means I need light. Here only there is light, therefore I am searching there only. What a foolish lady! And the master, he kept moving. Didn't sit and give a lecture to her. Where the problem is, it will not. That's why you need that buddhi, that intellect, to focus where the problem is. Because of the exaggeration, the problem gets shifted elsewhere. Because of the exaggeration, the problem gets shifted elsewhere. Even a wise man, while striving, forcibly carry away his. It carries away. One is by the senses, second is through the language exaggeration. At the deepest core, exaggeration, the material is. At the grossest layer, exaggeration is at the level of the senses. Exaggeration happens at the level of the words, the language. In the deepest core, fundamentally, the exaggeration lies. Exaggeration lies in this. A void which is not there, an emptiness which is not there. Happiness which is not, a happiness which is not there. What is desire? A hope for happiness, a hope for happiness, a hope for enjoyment, a hope for happiness. What is desire? Desire is nothing but a hope for happiness, a hope for enjoyment. You follow? Desire means a hope for happiness, a hope for enjoyment. That hope drives the acquisition. That hope drives the acquisition. The moment acquisition starts, exaggeration comes in and it will tell you only if you have this much you can be happy. And whatever is that much is different from person to person. When I say different from person to person, depends on how ignorant or how wise that person is. Depends on how ignorant or how wise. You can see with clarity the exaggeration of others, but you can't see your own. You can't see your own exaggeration. The maid at home, there is a maid working with you at home, helping you. Suddenly she comes and asks, I need 50,000 rupees, na? You will say, why you want so much? Greedy you are. Why you want? Correct? And she is not asking for 500 crores. She is asking for 50,000. You understand? You can see that. You can see it so magnified. You can see it so so clearly. But if you are asking for 5 crores, it looks very normal. That's all it is. You follow? That's all. It's so, there it looks very. Therefore, what do you understand from this? This is where intellect comes in. What do you understand from this? What do you understand from this example? Again I repeat. The lady comes and says, I want 50,000 rupees. You will say, the immediate reaction is, don't think philosophically, think what you do actually. The problem in this classroom is, when I actually ask what you will do now, you will give a philosophical answer, and then as soon as you go out, the whole thing. What do you actually do? All that she is asking you is what? 50,000 rupees. You will say? Straight away what you will say? Why do you need so much? Why is it? That's why you feel, people are very greedy, sir. Why? She asked for 50,000. You will ask for 5 crores and that will look very, very legitimate to you. From this, what are you able to follow this? From this, what do you understand? From this, what do you understand? You cannot understand it in the right way. That's why I am going to say. What do you understand? The numbers has no meaning. It's not 50,000 or, if it is 50,000, if 50,000 has its own inherent value, it should be less only. Whoever? What is it? If 5 crores has an inherent value by itself, it has to be. You follow? Therefore, the numbers has no meaning. This you can, as I am giving this example, you can understand. But when you go back, it's difficult to accept this. Why? Your needs or your desires or your demands or your necessities, whatever you call it, has become so magnified that it looks normal. It looks so legitimate. How can a person not? There are people who say, sir, to live a normal, decent life, suppose if I were to ask everyone, how much you need to lead a normal life, and put everything in paper, you will not know who's right. For one man says, decent life, how much you need? I'm not asking, don't say. I'm not asking. Rhetorica I'm saying. How much you need? Minimum 70,000-80,000 sir, decent. I said for a month or for a year? For a month you need that much. Okay. Go to another person. How much? EMI so you need at least both husband and wife combined earning, you need at least 4-5 lakhs in a 4-5 lakhs for a month or for a year or for a lifetime. Lifetime for a month. Down the line, you see, carefully follow this. Down the line, quantum goes on, the numbers goes on increasing. The numbers goes on increasing. Proportionately, nothing changes. Proportionately, nothing changes. But what makes a man to chase that numbers? The mind's exaggerated notion that more means more happiness. Less means less happiness. Are able to go put both together. Put this on the left hand side, put this on the right hand side, and you try to tally it, you will understand. How absurd is the human mind? Where does it all start? It all starts at the level of the senses. Make it more and more and more comfortable for the senses, so that you can become more efficient, so that you can become more better. Tragically, ulta is happening. There was a time where the entire knowledge the people was able to memorize and pass it on to the next generation, just through memory. Here, one number the man is not able to. You ask for what is your phone number? They will ask, unga number sollungo. Why my number? When I ask for your number, unga number illala. Now missed call kuduthran ungalku. For he doesn't even remember his number. And not that he is having 50 numbers, he has only one number. And this is advancement. Are you able to follow? When the senses, the thought, exaggerate, misunderstanding, make it comfortable at the level of the senses, so that life will become, you can become more efficient, so that you don't waste time. You don't waste. Idhulalla you should not waste. Should not waste time in cooking. Therefore, cook once a week. You should not waste time in washing. Therefore, dry kuda panna kudadu. So put it in the dry itself, so that for you don't waste time in cooking, you don't waste time in washing, you don't waste time in, what will you do? See that society where everything is done by the machine. What are they doing? What are they doing? What are they doing? Not that they are all sitting and meditating. Not that they are all become Nachiketas and Shvetaketus. What has happened? They become lazy. They become weird. They get so weird. All sorts of weird things starts. Exaggeration. Because of what? Make the senses, make it comfortable. Exactly the opposite discipline they gave. Brahmacharya. Make it difficult. Don't make it comfortable. Make it difficult. That's why the child, when the boy or the girl goes to school, the first discipline in life is Brahmacharya. You follow? Today, it is exactly the senses. That's what he's saying. You make the senses more and more and more comfortable. It's not that you can save all the time and you become more evolved, you become more dynamic. What happens? So frustrated. Look at their vocabulary. There is no refinement in that. There is no refinement in the vocabulary. There is no refinement in anything they do. Why? The growth of life is through discipline. Tapas. The senses, which can't take even a little bit of pain, says, first make it comfortable, so that growth becomes easy. You have made it comfortable, as a result of which what has happened? There is no. You follow? Another example. Look at the generation where they have made money. See the third generation and fourth generation in that family. It's so sad to see them. Are you able to follow? The man at the first generation who made all the money versus the third generation, fourth generation. You see them? What happens in them? What happens to them? history. Again and again and again it keeps, the story goes on repeating. And yet, we want to make sure that for the 10 generations they are taken care of. Even though you see it, you don't see it. You follow? Why? Comforts at the level of the senses. So they said, practice brahmacharya. Brahmacharya, a discipline at the level of the senses. But all this is very mechanical, no sir. Anyway, it's only the mind that does everything, no. Why can't we straight away go to the mind? It has already entered into you. What? I will not do tapas. Here he is talking about a man who is doing tapas. And where does it start? Starts at the level of the senses. If someone forces it on you, it's painful. If you do it by your own self, it is tapas. If someone forces it on you, it is painful. It's frustrating. If you do it by yourself, it is called tapas. Follow? There is enough food in the refrigerator, but then you choose not to eat. Versus the man starving and he has no access to food at all. What is tapas? The second category is not tapas. The first category is tapas. What is the first category? It is there, but you choose not to. You follow? The senses by nature, which is indulging, moves in opposites. Are you okay till now? Now I am going to the next step. By nature, the senses which is indulgent will move to the opposite. Like the overeating itself will make you to fast. You eat too much, it's a question of time that you will start fasting. You fast, it's a question of time that you start overeating. But very difficult to eat. The right quantity, the right type. The right quantity, the right type. You follow? The sight of it is attractive. Sight of it is attractive means that much of demand is there in you. That's why the sight, you see it, something forces you to contact it and you can't even stop it. Yeah. It's there on the table. Every time you pass, you feel like picking. What is wrong in that? It's just one, no, what is? There's nothing wrong in it, but something fundamentally, you follow? The senses forcibly carry the mind away. Carry the mind away means what? The mind which ought to be fixed on the higher. The mind that ought to be fixed on the higher is chasing the world, is chasing the lower. That's what he means. Forcibly carries the mind away. Go to the temple, they give you a prasad there, where you are supposed to be reminded of the divinity. You will say, less salt. Less salt. In the coil, you will ask at least they could have made the pongal more. Why they? The senses carry this is what he says. The senses carry the mind away. In a wise man, why striving? All that he is saying is be careful. 61.
कान्ति सर्वाणि संयम्य युक्त आसीत् मत्परः वशे यस्येन्द्रियाणि तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता कान्ति सर्वाणि संयम्य युक्त आसीत् मत्परः वशे यस्येन्द्रियाणि तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता.
Having controlled them all, he should sit focused on me as supreme. His wisdom is established indeed, whose senses are under control. Continuing the same thought flow. Having controlled them all, them means the senses. Having the senses under control, it's no more running outside. It's sitting in one place. Senses running in all directions means what? The eye is constantly looking for pleasant sights. The ears constantly looking for pleasant, meaning pleasant sensations. The senses are constantly looking for corresponding pleasant sensations. Having controlled them all, control all that, he should sit focused on me as supreme. Sitting focused is a reference to meditation. Sit means movement has stopped. Is no more moving. Me as supreme. Me as supreme meaning the goal has shifted from chasing the world. You don't chase the world. You chase the world for enjoyment. Per se, no one is interested in the world. You are interested as long as there is a hope of happiness is there. The moment the hope goes away, the moment the happiness goes away, you will not chase. You will not be in that environment. Like, you will come into this classroom as long as there is a hope that something good will happen. Yes. Suddenly you realize that week after week after week, nothing is happening. Maybe 1 hour. Immediately what will happen? This ceases to exist. The environment exists, the world exists because of your desires. You are contacting them again and again. You contact because of the hope still is there. At least now the hope is there. Or maybe kind of addiction. What else you do? Sitting focused on me as supreme means the goal of evolution, the goal of self-realization, God realization. Nothing else is important to this person now. His wisdom is established indeed, whose senses are under control. Again and again he is asking. Remember Arjuna's question. Who is the Sthita Prajna? Don't forget and the question get to Urvasana. Arjuna asked this question last year. He asked, who is the Sthita Prajna? Man of steady wisdom. Answer is Vashehi Yasyendriyani Tasya Prajna Pratishtita. The man of steady wisdom is one whose senses are under control. Whose senses are under control. Bada. Looks like we all are kind of Sthita Prajna already. Or the senses are under control. The supreme goal when the lower is understood as useless, futile, dirt, then the thirst for the higher comes. Yeah. As long as the person is comfortable in dirt, you can't do anything. Not only they don't see it as dirt, they are enjoyment in that dirt, relishing that dirt. I have given the story before. Again, same story. One guru cursed his disciple that he will be born as a pig. The guru cursed the disciple that he will be born as a pig. The story is, the disciple was careless. He was one day the guru, after bathing from the river, came to use his dhoti. He saw a dry fish sticking to the dhoti. He saw a dry fish that is stuck to the dhoti. What has happened is, the disciple, when he was we don't know that, washing the clothes, in the river sometimes a small fish get. It's like, if you have washed in the river, you will know that. Yeah, washing machine you will not. No, if you have washed in the river, you know that sometimes a small fish can get stuck. And fellow killed it nicely. The fish got squeezed to death. He didn't even see it then. Dried it. The fish also got dried, or folded it, neatly ironed and put it back. Even then he didn't see. Why? For his soul lost. Are you able to follow? For his soul lost elsewhere. So next day, when the guru came to use the clothes, he saw the dried fish. He said, who did this? Son, you will be born as a pig, the curse. Immediately the disciple started crying. How can you be so cruel? How can you be so cruel to me like this? For just ordinary this thing. Guru said, no, now that I have cursed, I can't clear. The nature of curse is like that. No, you can't take it back. Now that I have cursed, I can't take it back. No, please. What do I? Give me some prashchita to get out of it. He said, okay, I will tell you where you will be born as a pig. You do what you. So in the nearby town, at the so and so time, you will be born as the 7th piglet. The symbol is, there will be that all piglets will be dark and black. You will be born with a brown, you know that, no? The brown thing in the neck. You are that. Only this much I can do. So the disciple called the other disciples and said, see, the guru has, heartless guru he has cursed. I am going to die now. Please come there. For he has given the details. He has told me all that. Please come there and wait for me to be born. As soon as I am born, kill me, so that I can take another birth and come and serve the guru. What a wonderful, what a great disciple. And guru looks like, guru looks like, and all the disciples went and said, even now you can take the curse back. No, what a wonderful disciple he is. Why he said, Alan, curse is curse, that's all. The Shishya died. All the disciples went there, waiting for birth. Piglets always give birth in 10s and 20s. No? It doesn't give one or two. It comes in large numbers. The seventh one came exactly with the exact birthmark, everything. As soon as it came out, they started beating it. The piglet started screaming in pain, turning back and saying, why are you doing this to me? They say, you only asked us to do all this. That's why we are doing. The piglet said, I don't understand what you are saying. Just leave me alone. For it is so nice to be. You don't know how nice it is to be a piglet. Leave me alone. The disciples left and they came back. The Guru asked, what happened? You didn't curse. He wanted to become a pig. You follow? Me as supreme. The goal of me as supreme can come only when the lower is seen as dirt. As long as it is seen attractive, you can never let go of it. Again I repeat, as long as you don't see it as dirt, you cannot let go of it. Number one. Number two, it's not that you have to see it as dirt. It is dirt. It is dirt. Because of the mind's exaggeration, you are not seeing it. You are seeing something else. Are you able to follow? First is you have to understand it as, you have to see it as dirt. If you have to see it as dirt now, you don't unnecessarily project it. You just see it in its original form. The moment you see it in its original form, you will see the dirt. That's why it's called mala. The Sanskrit word is mala, nirmala. Clear? The Sanskrit word is mala, dirt. Opposite of that is nirmala. All dirt is removed. பேர் தான் வச்சுக்கிறாங்க இல்லையா? நிர்மல், மேலா இருந்தா நிர்மல். So I said, do you know I translated in English, you will not feel like having that, having this name. Feminine, na? Nirmalava, I don't know. Mala means dirt. What is dirt? What is the dirt? What is the dirt? What is dirt? Dirt is that which brings your downfall, but it is very attractive. That is dirt. It brings your downfall. You can't see it in the beginning, but it is very attractive. The 18th chapter he concludes by saying Amritam and Visham. The 18th chapter he concludes by calling it as Amritam and Visham. What is dirt? Dirt is that which is very, very attractive. That's why when he talks about tamasic food, sattvic food, rajasic food and tamasic food, he says relishing the leftovers, relishing the spoiled food, he says. Look at that. If you go to the 17th chapter, he gives a description of the sattvic food, rajasic food and tamasic food. The description of the tamasic food is they relish that which is spoiled. Yeah. அது இன்னையோட நாளைக்கு தான் நல்லா இருக்கும். It means it is more and more it is spoiled, more and more relishing. 100-year-old wine. But you don't know the taste, sir. That's why you are talking all this. If only you know the refinement of it. If only you know the taste of it. Tamasic for relishing the spoiled. It brings your downfall, but it is very but it is very attractive. Exactly opposite he says, sattvic food is yatayamam gatarasam. If it has crossed one yamana, it is spoiled. So what is fresh food? Every meal you have to cook fresh and eat. Whole lifetime you will be in the kitchen only. Correct? Yatayamam. It means if it has crossed one. See, the way in which Ramanuja takes this word and explains, goes into details of what this Yatayamam Gatarasam means. The entire philosophy is revolved around that. It means what? Don't release that which is spoiled. Don't release that which is spoiled. If you want to eat, cook and eat. If you are lazy of cooking, don't eat. That's all. It's very straightforward. You follow what I am saying? But then, no sir, waste of time cooking. All the time you waste time in the kitchen only. You will know if you stand and cook. I never go into the kitchen only. My border is, I will not step into the. What is dirt? It's so relishing it is. It is so tasty, so attractive, and brings your downfall. No, see, these are all unscientific things. Probiotics are there only in spoiled. You drink that only. I'm not saying don't drink all that, please. I also drink a lot. I don't. You follow? An attraction to that which is spoiled. That is, it's so attractive. Dirt is so attractive. In language also, you use a vulgar word and you are using a refined word. When you use a vulgar word, what an enjoyment it gives, no? It's such a vulgar word. You follow? You can understand it in food, you can understand it in the language they use. That enjoyment, the kick when you use a vulgar word versus the in the Guru Shloka, in the Guru song that man wrote, fantastic stanza. I like that stanza so much. He says, in that stanza he says, you become so alert, so agile, so alive when you speak gossip. You fall off to sleep if the Lord's name starts. If the Lord's name is chanted, you fall off to sleep. But when gossiping is there, you become correct, no? In that, you know that song in the Guru Shloka, in the Guru song, there is that stanza. I like that song so much for that stanza only. Gossiping, so much alertness. Lord's name, fall off to sleep. Me as supreme. When you can sit focused on me as supreme, only when you have understood this as dirt. Once you understand it as dirt, you will not want to associate with it. Very difficult not to associate with the dirt. Why? You don't have the penetrating capacity to see it as dirt. For you see something, His wisdom is established indeed, whose senses are under control. Who is that man? Having controlled them all. Having controlled them all means having controlled the senses. He should sit focused on me as supreme. It's like a cause and effect relationship. If you want to meditate, you should have your senses under control. If your senses are not under control, don't try and directly he is saying that. He should sit focused on me as supreme. Me means the goal of realization. The higher goals in life, that's all it means. The higher goals of life. To focus on the higher goals of life, the lower has to be seen as dirt. The moment you see it as dirt, you will not want to touch it again. Follow? You see it as dirt, you will not want to touch it again. It is dirt, but still objectively I am touching it. Vedanta only said objectivity, no sir. So objectively I am dealing with that. If you see it like that, you will not go anywhere. Having controlled them all, an appeal is, before getting into meditation, control the senses. Before getting into higher practices, control the senses. Most of the time the senses are not under control. Wherever it looks like it's under control, because of overindulgence, it has simply become dull. That's all. Don't misunderstand the dull senses as controlled senses. That's why you give it a period of time and contact water. So the senses need that much time to spring back, for the next indulgence. So indulgence will be followed by a period of abstinence, will be followed by indulgence. This is natural. Youth to old, old to youth. When you are young, you will indulge. When you are old, you will abstain. Not that you have outgrown that. The senses have simply become dull, and this will lead to another round of indulgence, another youth, another punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam. Again birth, again death, again birth, again death. For the starting point is, bring the senses under control. Bring the senses under control. Bringing the senses under control means try and do that which is opposite of it. The first time when you get hungry, your legs and hands and all starts shaking and shivering. You will get looks like you are going to get a headache. You are going to die of that hunger, and you eat something habhada. Then, and then the man says, my senses are under control. If you are diabetic, please eat. Please eat. What it means is, that's why they say fast. The natural tendency is to eat. What is bringing senses under control means fast. As soon as you wake up, the natural tendency is to start talking. Correct? You have to, so they say, practice silence. Practice silence. I know WhatsApp message am children. Since I am practicing Maunam today, I will send message through WhatsApp. That urge to communicate, that urge to express, that urge to contact, stop it. When you are trying to restrain, there you know how much you are. They say the flight is take off, switch off your mobiles, put it in the flight mode. So agitation till it is landed and brought back to normal mode, I don't know, whatever it is. You follow? What does sense control means? That which on one plane looks natural, you try and not do it. You get hungry, which is natural. What is sense control? Practice fasting. It is natural to talk. They said practice maunam. It is natural to fall off to sleep. They say be awake. அதுக்கு தான் சார் 3 சினிமா பார்த்துட்டு I will be awake இல்லையா? So funny there, no? Vaikunta Ekadashi special show. What time they do that? 3 o'clock in the morning, so that you can be awake இல்லையா? It's over, no? Vaikunta Ekadashi over இருக்கா? over. அப்போ போய் அகாடமியில் மாட்டின்ட்டேன், இல்லைன்னா ஒரு ஸ்பெஷல் ஷோ போயிருக்கலாம். They said this is what is meant by senses under control. It means what? That which is natural, you are able to. What is the nature of the mind? Is to run behind the senses. Through the senses it chases the world. How can you stop it when you have not stopped the medium? The mind through the senses contacts the world. If you have not brought the medium under control, how can you control the mind? Today, all out indulgence at the level of the medium, and everyone wants to control the mind directly. First thing is, having controlled them all, sit focused on me as supreme. His wisdom is established. Indeed, whose senses are under. From now on, he is going to repeat the same thing. Pashehi yashendriyani tasya prajna pratishtita. Pashehi yashendriyani tasya prajna pratishtita. Who is an enlightened man? Who is a wise man? Asthita prajna. Whose senses are under control. Senses are under control means the senses by itself don't decide. He decides. The senses don't decide, he decides. This man is under control, and this man is fit for meditation, and through meditation you attain self-realization. Or the wise man has done that. The wise one has practiced sense control, self-control, and then brought about the mind control. Then he sat in meditation, attained the state of realization. So Arjuna, you wanted to know who is the Siddha Prajna? Who is the Siddha Prajna? Where he started? At the level of the senses. Practice control at the level of the senses. For the medium ought to be controlled first. For senses are the medium through which the mind contacts the world. Therefore, once you have a strong senses, it becomes that much easier to control the mind. Comparatively, it becomes that much easier to control the mind. Therefore, having controlled them all, sit focused on me as supreme. His wisdom is established, whose senses are under. சரியா?